Released in yet another gorgeous box set by Eureka Video, Wrack and Ruin, the Rubble collection at DEFA, delivers another wonderful collection of classic black and white films from the East German studio. Made between 1945 and 1948, the collection offers 5 titles made in and around the Soviet occupation zone of post-war Germany. These were often shot in and around the wreckage left behind after the rule of the Third Reich, capturing the ruins of Berlin and devastation of war as the citizens tried to rebuild their lives as well as their city. Thus, these particular DEFA productions have since garnered the name of Rubble Films or Trümmer Film in their native tongue. An incredible and important part of early cinema, each of the titles offers viewers something different, from courtroom dramas to police procedurals, thrillers to romance, and more, with gripping visuals and great performances that highlight the damage brought by the horrific events before it. The first film of the set is The Murderers Are Among Us, which was the first film ever produced in post-war Germany. It tells the tale of Susanne Wallner, a concentration camp survivor who arrives home to Berlin and is shocked to find it in ruin. Alone, she returns to her old apartment where she finds a complete stranger now living there, Dr. Mertens, a former medical soldier of Hitler's army who drinks himself silly every night to try and forget the horrors he was involved in during the war. But as the two dispirited strangers try to get along and move forward, learning from each other's dark memories and experiences, a dark figure from Mertens' past soon returns to upset the balance. Now a successful businessman, this previous war criminal sparks an anger in Merton that pushes him to the edge. Traumatized by this reintroduction and angered that his former captain has happily moved on as if nothing had happened, the Doctor asks himself if he can rid the world of one such evil while toying with emotions such as guilt, redemption, and hope until a final poignant moment that sums it all up. While bleak and hard-hitting for the most part, The Murderers Are Among Us is quite the experience. Brilliantly directed by the prolific Wolfgang Stott, wonderfully acted and beautifully shot, the film proves why it is an important part of German cinema, but also keeps you hooked with its stark black and white images, tense atmosphere and authenticity, with an impactful final scene that will stay with you for a long time. I thoroughly enjoyed my first time viewing of this incredible film and felt that both Hildegard Neff and Wilhelm Borchardt did an amazing job. Gorgeously restored by Eureka Video and DEFA, this first film and disc of the set also comes with an audio commentary by crime cinema expert Sergio Angelini and a featurette called From the Rubble, a fascinating 28-minute insight to the history of DEFA, but also of German cinema throughout the Nazi years and how it came about. 2 historical pieces are also contained: Rebuilding Berlin, which features some incredible documentary footage on how the city was reborn, and The Eyewitness, an archival newsreel on the destruction of the war in Berlin and a little on the making of The Murderers Are Among Us. Again, quite a fascinating piece to see after all these years. Somewhere in Berlin follows, a wonderful tale that kind of reminded me of my childhood growing up in the troubled streets of Belfast City, climbing over the rubble of burnt out buildings, abandoned streets and getting up to mischief. Having survived the war, a group of kids spend their days playing over the ruins of their city, innocently causing trouble and getting under the skin of most adults that are trying to get back to life. But for young Gustav, this is also a means to pass time as he waits for his father, who is a POW, to return home. As the time passes and the people of Berlin work hard to clear the streets, Gustav bumps into a stranger passing through and, as he always does, invites him home for a meal. But when he sees his mother's reaction to the man, the boy soon realizes that his wait is over. As they struggle through life and the father adapts to survive, those that can help do so, such as Gustav's best friend Willie and others, even if it means stealing. But karma has an odd way of dealing with things, and, in a cruel twist of fate, little Willie is badly injured in an accident that eventually brings everyone together. While it could almost run parallel with The Murderers Are Among Us, set in a very similar time and practically in the same streets, Somewhere in Berlin is a different experience altogether. The child actors are all cute and give great performances, coming across very natural in their ways through great direction and writing. The film is very neatly shot, capturing the devastating cityscape of Berlin, and closes with an emotional finale that shows how the children are the people of tomorrow. Accompanying Somewhere in Berlin on Disc 2 is the third film, Police Raid, another tale from the Soviet zone set among the rubble and ruins of post-war Berlin. Also known simply as Raid, the film tells the tale of Police Commissioner Newman and his men trying to put a stop to the black market racketeers who are taking advantage of the Berlin civilians' desperation as they attempt to rebuild their lives. In between the raids, cat and mouse games with the criminals, and finding the mole in his ranks, Newman has to deal with his daughter's fast-moving relationship and the shocking return of his son Paul, a POW who has to figure out his way back into society and find a job to help his family survive. But after an investigation to a local nightclub, Commissioner Newman turns up dead, and in a cruel twist of fate, as he falls deeper into the very world his father was trying to break, Paul soon finds work under the gang boss that killed his father. Police Raid comes across very differently than those before it, with its faster-paced, more adult storyline featuring a feisty femme fatale, murder, conspiracies, and gangsters. Prolific actor and star of almost 200 films, including the wonderful Heart of Stone, also available from Eureka, Paul Bilt, appears in both movies, co-starring as the troublesome shopkeeper in the former and leading the way as the no-nonsense commissioner in Police Raid. Directed by Werner Klinger, who was also behind The Terror of Dr. Mabuse in 1962, this police drama is an exciting addition to the collection, offering a darker tale than the previous outings. Disc 2 contains 2 audio commentaries, one for Somewhere in Berlin with Elizabeth Ward, and the other for Police Raid with Sergio Angelini, as well as an alternate ending for Somewhere in Berlin. A 20-minute feature called Crime Wave focuses on Police Raid and post-war Germany with narration by Sebastian Huduschke, while 2 archival pieces, Rebuilding Potsdam and The Eyewitness, play much like those on Disc 1, revealing some fascinating clips and newsreels of Berlin at the time, as well as a piece on DEFA's first animated short, Underground Scare. The fourth film of the set is Marriage in the Shadows, an interesting drama about the challenges of a German actor and his Jewish wife under the rule of the Third Reich, with him threatened to be drafted and sent to the front line and her to a concentration camp if they don't divorce. Scared and stuck for real resolve, Hans' only answer is suicide for them both. Based on a true story and one of the first post-war films to show the suffering of Jews at the hands of the Nazis, this intense melodrama hits hard and is wonderfully directed by Kurt Matzig, the same man behind Story of a Young Couple, Castles and Cottages, and the fantastic DEFA sci-fi film The Silent Star, which was released as part of the Strange New Worlds collection from Eureka. Starring prolific actor Paul Klinger as Hans and the lovely Elsa Steppet in her debut role as his wife Elizabeth, Marriage in the Shadows is as impressive today as it is important, as is the final title, The Blum Affair. Set in 1926 and based on another true story, this well-known murder trial tells the tale of Dr. Blum, a Jewish man who is falsely accused of killing his booker. But even when the identity of the real killer is revealed, corruption, alongside anti-Semitism and fascism, the state prosecutor still points the finger at Blum. Coming in as the longest-running film of the collection, The Blum Affair sees appearances from Werner Peters, Paul Bilt, and the prolific Gerhard Bernhardt, while leading man Kurt Erhardt delivers an impressive acting debut as Jakob Blum. While offering less of the physical rubble than all the other titles in the set, director Eric Engel still makes The Blum Affair a gripping watch. Accompanying the movies on this final disc are 2 more audio commentaries with Sean Allen on Marriage in the Shadows and David Melville on The Blum Affair, reading from a commentary written by Roland Mann. Sue Weiss discusses DEFA and the Holocaust in a 25-minute feature called Confronting the Past, an informative piece featuring clips from the films, pictures from World War II, and more. Death Camp Sachsenhausen is an archival documentary running for about 36 minutes that begins with a warning for the footage contained, distressing imagery, depictions of murder, torture, and human suffering. Made in 1946, this stark production makes for a very interesting watch and is a great reminder on the horrors of war, with the evidential film and photos bringing some shock value for sure. And finally, another episode of The Eyewitness closes things, offering some footage on the making of Marriage in the Shadows and other archival news footage from that period. Aside from that, the limited 2,000 copies all come in a collector's edition box with a fantastically put together book. Overall, yet another stunning release from Eureka Video, continuing their celebration of DEFA movies alongside limited edition releases such as The Sons of Great Bear, Heart of Stone, and Strange New Worlds. The Wrack and Ruin collection is a must for fans of classic German cinema and cinephiles that want to add another great set to the collection. Thank you for watching, and thank you for your continued support. Don't forget you can read more reviews over at the Celluloid Misfits website, and keep checking back here on the channel for more videos coming soon.